who's who in the Goodwin family, so you can avoid any confusion. Now, we all halfway look alike. Most of us are somewhere or another connected with the law. We're lawyers. And we've been around here for an awfully long time. Some of us haven't been around quite as long as others, but we've been around for a long time in this county. I had two brothers. My younger brother, Steve, sadly passed away a few years back. My older brother was Joe Bob, who's now a United States District Judge in the Southern District of West Virginia. Judges, particularly federal judges, cannot take part in political events or he would be here. He sent his wife of 50 years, Secretary of Education, Kay Goodwin, is here. Just so that, again, you can understand who is who and in what circumstance. Joe Bob had, and Kay had, one child, and I'll introduce him here in a moment. He's actually the reason that we're here. My wife and I, Catherine, have been married for 49 years. We Goodwins are pretty monogamous, loyal people. My wife and I had two children, Carrie and Emily. My younger brother Steve had three children, Alyssa, Cart, and Thomas Ryan Goodwin II. Now, they call him Ryan, but as you might suspect, I'm reasonably proud of that boy. He's the only one that's not living here in the state of West Virginia now. He married a lovely lady from out in Illinois. He's a president of a bank outside of St. Louis and has been very, very successful. But I'm sure he's here in spirit. As you all, being active in politics, know, his middle child, Cart Patrick Goodwin. My brother Steve's name was Stephen Patrick. So Cart Patrick Goodwin was a United States Senator in the United States Senate for a while. He was appointed to replace Robert C. Byrd. And as a senator
for a long weekend.
Well, a little more than a long weekend for those of us that missed you, and also it was a little more than a long weekend for those that were looking to get unemployment compensation. The other side was trying to block unemployment compensation extension, and they were filibustering, and it took a 60 vote in the United States Senate to break the filibuster. And Cart, within 5 minutes of being sworn in as United States Senator, was the 60th vote. He broke that filibuster, and working men and women all over the country got their unemployment. Now, as I say, we've been here for quite some time. My father was Bob Goodwin. He was mayor of the city of Ripley for some time. And my mother was Leslie Stats Goodwin. So once you move from the Goodwins and can incorporate the Statses, you bring in quite a crew. And the Statses have been here for many, many, many years. All the Statses here in the county go back to the original patriarch by the name of Abraham Stats, who was born in 1750 and died in 1826. And his remains are buried just down the road here, about a mile, in the old Stat Cemetery. And his tombstone says, "Here lies Abraham Stats, born in 1750, died in 1826, one of the founders of Evans, West Virginia. He died from an infection of a bear bite." I just love the idea that somewhere in my gene pool was someone that lived to be 76 years old and died after fighting with a bear. So all of us in Jackson County know the golden rule in Jackson County, which is be careful what you say about people, because everybody somewhere or another is related. And so you have to be cautious about that. And I'll give you one example of that. The mayor now of the city of Ripley is a very distinguished mayor whose name happens to be Carolyn Rader. Now, she's promised to be here later on today. She's with her son, who's now running for judge at the Circuit Court of Jackson County. They're in Rome County. Carolyn Rader, you can very easily say something derogatory about her to one of the Goodwins and think, well, they're no relation to Carolyn Rader, or vice versa. Say something derogatory to us about the mayor of the city of Ripley. Well, Carolyn Rader is my first cousin, once removed. Her mother was Audley Rader, and Audley Rader was a Stats. Her father was Cecil Stats, and Cecil Stats was my mother's oldest brother. So I grew up at Uncle Cecil's on Sundays. Carolyn's mother, Audley, was there, as were her sisters, brother, and then she married a great athlete by the name of Carol Rader. That's where the Carolyn comes from. And she had several children, including Carolyn, Sally Sue, David, and probably one of the best athletes in the history of Ripley, Dick Rader. Dick was my first cousin. The only thing I always wished about it is I had his foot speed and good looks. He was a fantastic guy and a fantastic athlete. He now lives in Texas. So we thought that was pretty expansive when the Goodwins and the Statses got together. But that's dwarfed by another relative of mine. And what she did to expand the family tree is, if you live in Jackson County, you understand, if you're married to a Casto, that opens up thousands of people. I had a young cousin that practically grew up with us. Her name was Margaret Cameron Lamford. Some of you all know her as Mickey Casto. And Mickey is also my first cousin, once removed. Her father's mother was my Aunt Wanda, who was my mother's sister. So as a result, Uncle Cecil, Aunt Wanda, who we called Aunt Bill, connect us now to the Statses, to the Raiders, and to the Castos, so be careful. And not only that, are we connected, we're extremely loyal one to the other. And we may fight among ourselves, but don't pick on one of us, because when you do, you jump on all of us, as far as we're concerned. I am especially honored to be here today for the purpose at hand. We are in a county that I have lived in all my life. We're in a county that my family has lived in for a couple, 300 years. We are in an area where my brothers and I had these wonderful children. They all are graduates of Ripley High School. And after our next speaker decided to make his run for governor, we said, we need to have an event in Jackson County. We can bring together some of our old friends and family, get them together, reconnect with those people, let them know how important they are to us, how important they have been to us over the years, and how we've all done. No one is any better than the collective fellowship of their friends and family. And that's certainly true of people that live in Jackson County. And this young man was a former United States Attorney for the Southern District of West Virginia. There he distinguished himself by prosecuting a bunch of bad people. He did so with compassion and objectivity. He approached his job with a type of dedication to public service that is commendable in any public servant. He undertook cases that no one in the history of the state would ever undertake. In particular, in relationship to people that work in factories, or coal mines, or anything else. He said at his swearing-in ceremony that you shouldn't have to sacrifice your safety and your health to work in a job in West Virginia. As long as I'm head of this office, anyone who violates those laws will be prosecuted, and that he did. Never before in the history of the state of West Virginia has a U.S. attorney taken on top officials and top people the way that he did to assure not that it was some big splash, but to assure to the workers, men and women of West Virginia, that they could work in a safe environment and people could not violate the laws with impunity. Not so long as he was the U.S. attorney. As his uncle and his very close friend, to introduce to you the next governor of the state of West Virginia.
This is amazing. It is absolutely touching to see all of my great friends here. I tell you what, when I was driving out here, I was thinking to myself, I'm going to the Jackson County Junior Fair. Now, I remember when I was walking these fairgrounds with my nice brand new Sony Walkman, listening to C98 before it was country, right? You remember that? Yeah. And it was one of the first ones, so it didn't even have a cassette then. So yeah. I also looked down over the hill, and I remember playing on that stage in one of the first concerts that my high school rock band had. It was big. It was big. I'm telling you. And we thought we were about all that in a bag of snack cakes. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. But it's so remarkable to be out here and be with you, each of you. Those sorts of memories are the things that I want for my two boys. And when people say, Ruth, why'd you quit a nice federal job and decide to run for governor? And I respond, two main reasons. And their names are Joe and Sam. My beautiful wife, Amy, and I have two boys who we care for deeply. And I want them to have the same kind of opportunity to grow up, live, raise their family, work here in West Virginia that we have had. And I fear that if we don't do something bold, if we don't do something fast, then they're not going to have that same kind of opportunity here. What you're seeing and what you've seen over the last 60 days at the State House is outrageous. It is ridiculous. And it's time that we take it back. What they need up there is some good Jackson County common sense. And I will commit to you that when I'm the governor, we are going to have one heck of a big party at the governor's mansion just for Jackson County. Now, seriously, I really appreciate you all being out here today. Thank you, Uncle Tom and Catherine, Carrie and Emily, and everyone who have come together to make this event a rousing success. This is what it's going to take. This is what we need to have happen to take the State House back. It's going to take West Virginians coming together. Republican, Democrat, rich, poor, young, old, West Virginians coming together. What I see from this crowd is that you all have the faith that we can do that. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you for your support, and may God bless the great state of West Virginia.
Booth and I have been friends for years. I've been friends with the Goodwin family for years, for at least 40 years. I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but I've been with them forever. I was driving down the street one day recently. My phone rang, and I looked. Booth. This is not going to be good. So I pulled off to the side of the street, and Booth and I got to talking. He said, "Chief, I just want to tell you that I was in Ripley a couple days ago," and he said, "I left a bumper sticker on the front door of City Hall," and he said it was for the mayor, and he said, "I think I did some damage to the door." And I said, "Well, we'll check on that, Booth, and see what the problem is." And I said, "I'll get back with you." And I says, "If there's any repairs," I said, "I'm sure the mayor will take care of it." So anyway, we kept talking, and we got to talking about the governor's race, and he asked me, he said, "I'd like to have the support of the West Virginia Chiefs of Police Association." And he knows that I'm the president of the Chiefs of Police Association. So I said, "Fire me off a letter, I'll present it to the board." He said, "Okay." So later on that evening, I sat in my living room, got a message from Booth. 2 days later, I get the letter from Booth. So the following week, we have a Chief of Police board meeting in Flatwoods. And I had a copy of the letter, and when we went through the agenda, I had that on the agenda that, I'd like to support Booth Goodwin for governor. And we had a big discussion about it, and everybody voted that they was going to support Booth Goodwin for governor. Booth, buddy, you've got a lot of law enforcement officers out there that's going to be supporting you. I will just tell you this. I'll give you some names here in just a couple minutes, but one of the chiefs said that, "Mr. President, I want you to make sure that that is in the minutes, that it's a majority vote that we support Booth Goodwin for governor." So it's in our minutes. Here's a little token for the West Virginia Chiefs of Police Association. I want you to wear it with pride. Now, I've got a couple names here that I'm going to give you. You need to get in touch with them guys.
Again, thank you so much for coming out here. It's been so phenomenal seeing everyone, and we are so looking forward to continuing to get around and talk with all my great friends. So thank you so much.